What's up guys, bob.bob.the.gamer here, coming at you with some more top deck lists. Today we have the top deck list from YCS Birmingham, UK. Check it out. Alright guys, here we go. Starting us off, we got top 8. Okay, we got DaGoatCards on Vayu Turbo. So important things to note here is that he's on No Hamster. He did want the third Caius, the Shadow Monarch. He did mention that while he was playing that the third Arm Wing did come up once to where he didn't have it because of Chimera Tech, and that his sideboard, DD Warrior Lady, was very, very good. The rest looks pretty standard. He's on 2 deck devies in the main, 2 oppressions in the side. This was obviously before we knew about the Giant Ford blow up. Alright, moving on. We got Adam Hayes with Hero Frog. Alright, so Adam Hayes, he's interesting things to note. He's on 2 Ocean, 2 Salvage. He's on no Malicious Edge, no Elemental Hero Alias, and no Junk Synchron. His logic for Junk Synchron was basically that if he's going to side it out for a deck devi in, half of the games anyway, then you might as well not even play it. I don't know that I particularly agree with that, but he did make top 8 at a YCS, so, that is something. He did mention the main decks. He's on 3 Dimensional Prisons, which obviously you've seen by now. He said that he's going to bring it in for games 2 and 3 for Fossil Dyna anyway. Then he does side into the Alias for keeping ratios when he sides around deck devi. He just takes the Prodigy out and puts the Alias in. I've done this in Diva Hero Zombie before, and I actually kind of like it. It's kind of nice for that ratio. Short of that, he's just a heavier trap and 2 Salvage in the main. That was very, very interesting. He mentioned that Salvage is just going to grab you different cards than the Hero Miracle Fusions typically target that you're banishing. So he said he didn't really end up finding any conflictions there. So congrats to Adam Hayes. Keep in mind, guys, deck lists are listed in the description of every video that I do. So you guys will be able to get these deck lists. All right, so up next, we're into top 4 because I'm missing 2 deck lists. I'm missing a Blackwing and I'm missing another Forg list. We got Tristan. So Tristan was on Forg. So notable things that he said that Beel's Frog, however the hell you say this frog here, right? He said that was actually really, really cool because you could do Colossal Armory Arm for 1 less card because it's a level 3 versus making a level 2 and stacking 2 level 1s for the Armory Arm. He said that came up a lot. He's only on 1 Treeborn, which is kind of crazy, but I guess he just didn't get DD Crowed very often, and so it wasn't that big of a deal. Extra deck, he mentioned that the Gaia could be cut and that he would consider a 3rd Armory Arm because he did have a game where it came up to where he would have wanted 3. He did mention that with this version that Brio costs 5 cards, including discard, and Mistworm would typically cost 3. So he said in this version with Forgs, right, you really have to analyze how many cards that you have in hand, and that kind of determines the plays that you make, right? You use Substitute and you abuse the Fishboard Frog in the graveyard, and you're discarding that, and then you're attributing with Substitute to make whatever boards you want for the Shinko plays, right? So knowing what cards cost what, he said, really is the key to the deck. And a couple other interesting things is that he mentioned that he wanted to play Flamebell Uwu, and with 2 Armory Arms, that actually beats over Amaryllis for game from full 8,000. So that's a pretty cool play that he had. Interesting things, he's got Offering to the Doomed. I've not seen this card since Playground Yu-Gi-Oh! But he's got Offering to the Doomed in there. He said he really liked that. He didn't want to end up discarding more cards, so he didn't want to do the discard traps. And so having the Offering to the Doomed, yes, it skips his draw phase, but it lets him use all of his resources that he had at that given time, right? He's not discarding things. Heavy and MST were all for pretty much Mask and Restrict. All right, moving on to 3rd place. We have Red Gadget. Nice guy. I talked to him. He was giving me some information about some of the event because he went to, Birmingham, and he was there. So congrats to Red Gadget. I know I told you a couple times, but congrats again, buddy. All right, so Red Gadget was on Blackwings. So his logic was for a couple of his choices. He was on 2 Vayu. He mostly wanted this for the Blizzard play to where you make Bryonic. You would bounce, you would summon Blizzard, get level 4, Synchro to Bryonic. After a Whirlwind, you search, the Vayu, discard the Vayu, and then you Vayu summon out another monster, and that's 4,600 damage. That's a pretty big play. That's why he wanted to do it. He said he did brick on it once or twice, but he plays more of a control, a kind of conservative game. Notice he's got Oppression in the side still, and that he didn't want to have Gores because he felt like it could limit what back row he was or was not setting. He's on the triple draw traps, no jars, just all legacies. He said that he wanted 3 summon stops, hence his 2 bottomless and torrential, and then he wanted 3 battle traps with the D prison and the mirror force. He said that was really good for him. He appreciated that. Obviously, solemn counts as solemn, but he's not on any main deck, Debbie, and then he mained the oppression. He said the oppression was very, very good and allowed him to make it past where he would have. He went with the extra deck slots, pretty standard, but he went with 1 Armor Master, 1 Mistworm. I don't remember if he said the Mistworm came up or not, but I know a lot of Blackwing players are doing this. Talking to a friend of mine, I'm wondering if it may be correct going forward to cut the Mistworm for a Red Dragon Archfiend for the Gigavize matchup. That might end up being the play, because you can do that with, Sirocco plus Whirlwind to get Gale, or if you just hard draw the Gale, you can obviously do that, or it's like Blizzard plus a Vayu summon, right? Like, so there's different ways that you can make level 8s easier than the 9, but we'll have to see how the format looks going forward. And then he said that for sideboard, he really liked everything except for pulling the rug. He thought that that was pretty mid. It didn't really come up a whole lot, and it was just kind of like, even when it did, it was like, eh. So, congrats again to Reggie Gadget. Moving into second place here, we have Machina Turbo, Machina Control, whatever you want to call it, right? So, a couple things to note about Lars' list here is that he's on 3 Force, only 1 Caius. I don't know that I agree with that. 1 Caius is kind of crazy. I feel like it's really good, especially with the Pot of Avarice and the Triple Hamster, but his list, not mine. He's on Morphing Jar, and he said that every time he resolved that, it was super, super good. 2 Pot of Avarice because he didn't want to brick on it. He's on no Brain Control in main or side, period. This kind of makes sense. Decks that can't convert off Brain Control, it kind of sucks. He's not on Plague Spreader. He's only on 1 Caius. And you don't typically want to be double sacking for your Fortress. So that's why he elected not to play Brain Control. Still a busted card, so I don't know that I would cut it, but the logic is there, right? So he mentioned that his Blackwing matchup was very, very good. I mean, you can tell. He's got double Trap Stun. He's got double Starlight Road. And he's, Machina is just kind of like helps against Blackwings. The Hamster over Shura, that type of thing, right? That's obviously very good. So he said that he doesn't side super heavy for Blackwing. Pretty much all he puts in is the triple Consecrated and the 1 Cyber Dragon, and that's pretty much it. For Frogs, he said that he's got a bad Frog matchup, and so he sides pretty heavy with that. He's going triple Fossil Dyna, he's going 2 Crows, he's going double Mask Restrict, and he's going Needle Sealing. So that's a lot of cards to side for Frogs, but it worked out for him. He got second place. So as far as other cards, he mentioned that 3 Lightning Prisoning, which are in the side, he would drop 1 for the 2nd Cyber Dragon. He said it just kind of makes sense to be able to do that. He also mentioned that he's not playing any Gotems because he's not playing Plague Spreader. But something interesting is he's on 2 Absolute Zero, and I don't know why. I don't know what the purpose of this is, how you would even get that out. He's not playing like Super Poly or something, so I don't know how he's summoning this. If somebody knows in the comments, please let me know, because I don't understand that. Anyway, moving on. We got first place. So we have Allisdair with Forks. So Allisdair is, to my knowledge, one of the main players that have innovated this deck, right? So this is kind of the standard. You saw this in my EWCQ9 list. A couple players have made virtually the same list. The cool thing about Allisdair's list is that he was able to basically go undefeated. So round 1, he sat in the wrong spot, played the guy, he won 2-0, and then he went over and saw you had a game loss. So in bigger tournaments, right, it's hard to remain sane, right, for lack of better words. You don't want to become tilted after, you get a game loss for literally winning the game, right? Like, that sucks. But he went into the deck, or he went into the tournament with the same deck, knowing, hey, like, this is what I'm playing, it is what it is. It's the same list as his 2024 Worlds list, which I did a video on that if you want to check that out. But the only difference is that he took out a Colossal Fighter, and he went for Red Dragon Archfiend specifically for the Gigavize matchup, because they'll put typically Power Tool in defense, and sometimes they'll put Titanium in defense to play around the Colossal Fighter. So Red Dragon can kind of get you two cards for that, and obviously Titanium does not answer Red Dragon. He said that his side deck is typically geared towards siding into Blackwing and Vayu. So he's bringing in things like Breakers, he's bringing in the D-Prisons, the Regeki Breaks, the Trap Stun. Pretty much like most of his sideboard is geared towards the Vayu and the Blackwing matchup. I have a video linked in the description that you can watch, and he kind of describes that in more detail. Another interesting thing to note is the Psychic Life Transfer. He said that actually came up and won him a game. So, something interesting to note. But alright guys, that's going to be the top deck list for YCS Birmingham. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Check out one of these other videos in my deck list playlist here, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.